Welcome, everyone. How you doing today? Yeah? Wyatt, you hear me okay in the back? Nice. The advantage of the smaller events like this is we get to know each other before I get on stage. It's a disadvantage to most of you, especially a couple of drinks in you, and, well, we find out what happens. I won't bore you to death. I know lunch is coming up next. They're setting up in the other room. I just wanted to show on the business side a little bit, a way that you can use AI very specific to my industry that is food, right? Anybody in here eat? Anybody in here drink? Don't lie to me, I saw most of you yesterday. The company I work for is a 110-year-old food distribution company in Philadelphia. We sell everything from the proteins on your table to the sugar and the groceries and the things that are needed to make the chocolate and the desserts, along with the bitters and the things that you need to fulfill the bar. Everything but the liquor. We're working on the other part. Today, I wanted to show you how the menu becomes the intent of the restaurant. And I want to show you how we fulfill an order and what do we do with AI specifically in a use case. And I can adapt that in an example for you folks in a couple different ways, but I'm going to stick with food for now because I was told to. The guys on the stage said, stick with the slides, Steve. Before I get started, there's a QR code up there. You can scan it or take a picture of it. There'll be one at the very end, but that QR code will take you to a link that has the slides, so you don't have to take photos of the whole thing. You'll be able to download the slide deck. Today's path, we're going to look at the B2B problem. The problem where the restaurant thinks in dishes and not SKUs. They have no idea what the catalog looks like. They think about contracts and pack sizes. Not really, right? They want to know they have enough things to supply for the dishes that they're building. They also need some type of approvals in the kitchen. Yes, chef. Heard, chef, right? They need a way to repeat orders so that you, the customer, are consistently eating the same thing night after night. The dish has to stay the same. The chef has a lot of work, especially if they're dressing it up. If it's a dessert, they want it to look a certain way. In order to do that, we have to make sure the ingredients are there on time. How do we do this with AI, and what do we do? The solution comes from a coworker of mine who's in the audience. We were walking on a Jersey Shore town. We passed a new restaurant that was about to open, and we saw this menu outside. And she said, wow, I want to go up and see what it looks like, and took this picture of this menu. And I said, well, what'd you take the picture for? She's like, well, I got to figure out what they're going to sell. When you and I look at the restaurant and we look at the menu, we know the steak is the steak, the salmon is the salmon, but we don't know what the dishes are underneath of it. We don't know the recipe for those. And our salespeople, they have no idea what they need to sell the restaurant yet. They don't know to the macro detail of how many plates and those types of pieces. So Jessica and I, walking past this, we looked at this menu for this new restaurant. We said, how long is this going to take our salespeople? And I think it took them about 4 days to figure out the recipe and then figure out what it was going to be to get it ultimately to what we're all here for, right, is the requisition list on Magento. I'm going to show you a little bit of a story demo, not live, just some slides, where the chef has a view, the salesperson has a view, and then what's it look like in the Adobe Commerce Magento cart. In food procurement, when you're looking at those dishes and the chef goes, add to cart, it's not really shopping. They know what they're going to need. Unless it's some kind of special or last-minute item, it's repeatable. We have to make search better, is what everybody keeps telling us, but the restaurant's not searching for their dishes. You can't go in there and say, hey, I want chicken parm, and search the website for chicken parmesan. It doesn't work, right? So this solution allows them to upload their dish, upload their menu, and it cross-references the SKUs from the back of the house and makes it customer-specific catalog for them using a custom requisition list that we call an order guide. In the back of those kitchens, last night where you ate for dinner, there's a clipboard. And on the clipboard, the chef or the sous chef or someone in procurement is going through and checking the box. I need 16 heads of lettuce. I need 50 cases of chicken. I need 15 cases of steak, right? That's what they're doing. This is what we're translating into something that makes sense for us. So we're trying to convert the menu's intent to an order so we can ship it with 0 surprises. What it looks like today inside of Adobe Commerce. This is our portal. It's pretty generic, my account screen, right? There's a place in here where we're manually building order guides before this existed, where you're creating the requisition list by hand, SKU by SKU. Let's get into what it actually does. The salesperson has an application, the chef has an application, you can download it. If you're a customer, you can upload this for seasonal menus, you can do anything like that, right? You build it. So up on top here, you have the sales team, and then you have the restaurant shop. The chef uploads the menu, the dishes, and the ingredients. They cover the base costing, what real kitchen math, what's it take by plate to create. The restaurant margins, they're seen there, not in the tiers the salesperson sees, but in the things that they understand. What's the restaurant's margin per dish? Anything that's missing in that dish, we suggest and flag like, hey, you're missing salt. It's a shared ingredient. You need it in the kitchen across multiple dishes. Or butter. Think about it like that. The salesperson on the other side, they see the locations pricing. We operate 2 distribution centers in the Northeast, Philadelphia and Maryland. So the price is a little different based on which location you're coming out of. So the salesperson can see that. They can see the price tiers per dish. If you're only buying 50 cases of beef per week versus 100,000 cases of beef per week, your price is a little different. So we have to adjust for that. We want to make sure it's shown to the customer correctly. The margin's viewed, and then the guardrails are put in place, and then with one click, they can CSV export for orders and quotes. Sorry. When the chef goes to the screen, they upload a picture of it. And in 60 seconds, 26 dishes across 5 categories, search the dishes, search the ingredients, cover the cost basing, upload it, look for the missing ingredients that are flagged, and add them to the requisition list. This all happens in seconds. But what really, really happens is the chef just figures out what does Julius Silvert sell and what is their price. On the sales fly, multi-locations, same thing. The dish goes up, the salesperson can walk past it, you upload the dish, it parses the information, figures out the recipe based on all the genres of restaurants that you could have, and then pulls the pricing in, and then gives you the visual indicators of what price tiers are going to be there for when they're covered. And then with this, it'll give you the correct pack sizes that you need, the quantities, the time, and then the confidence on what's in the dish based on how many of those restaurants of that genre that we've serviced before. So end to end, right? Menu, a picture or PDF, you upload it. The AI extraction and mapping. The governance around it to make sure that the pack size is correct and that we're substituting where we need to in the confidence of the dish. The Adobe Commerce button that exists so that the requisition list or order guide is fulfilled and the customer can send that order to our ERP and then the warehouse management software for fulfillment. So what's it look like on the page? Same thing here, non-mobile screen, desktop side. And the chef in the back, a lot of these kitchens have ancient technology, talking about Internet Explorer. Yes, it still exists, right? So they're uploading at that. So we have to code for something that's old. We have to look for things like that. We have to adapt to what it is that the chef uses. This is a pen and paper industry. Lots of sticky notes in the back. Multiple people in the back of the kitchen don't speak English. So we use companies like the Language Pack, right, to translate it. You have a lot of Spanish-speaking people in the back of the kitchen, or Italian in an Italian restaurant, or Japanese-based restaurants. Then you upload it, and it'll look something like this. You uploaded your dish, it said spaghetti and chicken parm. It goes through, parses it, gives you a match, creates the SKU count, understands the average usage per plate, right? It gives you the unit cost, some total cost, and then the confidence against what the picture that you uploaded. For those of you who are a little bit more technical in the room, this is using Azure OCR Cognitive Search. When it gets to the pretty part, where's the customer order guide? This is where it goes up, and it says, hey, here's your dish, and here's the pictures of it. You have prime filet mignon, right? You're looking for boxes. You have dry aged prime New York strip. You have your Wagyu. You have your tomahawk, right? It's going to show it to you. Then quickly, you can see the different price groups that you belong to and adjust the price so that you can put your order in. Then what happens is the end, the order fulfillment part. This is the order confirmation, letting the customer know all the things they need. When is it going to be delivered? All of this is happening through Adobe Commerce, right? Every piece of this section is done right through the page. The things that you're all here doing with your customers can be translated to something else. What if it was a car that you're working on? You're working to rebuild your Ford, right? You're working on this Mustang and you get to the point of the catalog and you go to Holly Automotive and you need something that says, hey, I need to rebuild the motor for this car. It's the same thing. You could take a picture of the car, upload a couple pieces, and with those schematics, it can cross-reference the internal catalog needed for the parts to run your repair. That's the purpose. That's the use case. Said another way besides food. Governance is super important in this. The pricing is really, really key. In B2B, locations matter, margins specifically, and then the tiering of the price system is supposed to only be shown to the sales team. Now, I slightly modified the numbers here for you guys so I could publicly display it, but they're up there, right? And it gives you an idea of what is the X times per cost or the margin per cost. Chef's view always have to stay clean. We've all seen those shows where, Gordon Ramsay's screaming at somebody or something like that. Can you imagine if the price is off by lettuce for a couple of cents? He wouldn't buy from us again. That's the whole purpose. This allows us to have these insights, and it reduces errors, and it boosts adaptation, right? What it does is the shared ingredients view. Even when you're the chef and you're making these dishes and you're creating your menu, you don't often think of how many times you're using salt and butter and pepper across all of the dishes. This is going to give you what you need in total for your kitchen based on your menu that you uploaded. They don't have to think through the recipe or think through adding or subtracting those pieces. The ingredient analysis takes the top 10 by volume and by cost and gives you the confidence scoring across. Next edition, we're actually going to take the bottom 4 and cross-reference them as well. And then the missing items. When you add something to the menu and it's so specific, maybe it doesn't match a SKU, we'll suggest it to you of what we think, but that is where the salespeople get involved. The salesperson sees the confidence of the entire menu and they say, okay, we're 97% there. What's the 3% that we're not looking at? And it identifies those dishes, and that's the conversation where you get to go to the chef, to the actual customer, and you get to see it, right? And the chef gets to say, hey, that's right, or hey, that's wrong, but at least you create the customer interaction. So at the end of the day, not everything is being done by AI. Not everything is done online, and it creates the step for the customer to have the touch by the salesperson. How it ties in, some example of what it does. A little bit of coding here. Just want to throw some things technical on the slide. But to make sure the customer and the customer ship to information is correct, the shared catalog information is across multiple restaurants, especially restaurant groups that have shared ingredients, or different people that are even going to order. Because you could have the same person in the back of the kitchen that's doing procurement for more than one location or more than one restaurant. So we allow that in the multi-user environment. What it really changed is faster ordering, fewer credits and errors, and higher digital adoption. We're seeing more chefs and more kitchens use tablets in the back instead of the paper. We're seeing more people from different languages be able to place the orders. We're seeing more people across the entire Northeast, when they're ordering from us, our AOV increasing about 15 to 16% on average, because they're able to hit repeat. Once their menu is uploaded and it does the parsing and they get it right with sales, they just click repeat. That's it. I appreciate you guys spending some time with me today. I hope you enjoy lunch. It's going to be out in the other room. But thank you very much.